All right, welcome everyone to the lobby for Chronologically Gaming. We're going to do something a little different, just trying this out to see how it goes. Answer some questions live before the show and greet everybody because typing gets a little boring every now and then. But this is Chronologically Gaming. We do play every video game in order of release. At this point, I don't even know the running total. I know we've done over 3,200 games, somewhere over 3,200, but you can obviously find the exact amount if you go to the spreadsheet down below of all the games we've ever played. So I know it's over 3,200, I just don't know the exact number. But welcome everyone to the pre-show, or lobby, or I don't know what to call it. I'm just trying this out. We experiment a little bit too much on the show, making new things happen. Howdy, Brad. Hi, GSE Stream. Yeah, a little bit new format. We're just trying it out to see how it works because I don't really have a lot of time to talk about the show in between. But if you want to send the questions out now, we can just answer them live. Oh, thanks so much, Marshall. Yeah, maybe we'll have a staff of people, but no, it's just one guy. Producer, director, writer, performer. I'll just do it all. In fact, the show or this channel has been around, I think 4 years is when I created it, 4 years ago. But I didn't do anything with it because I was frantically trying to get everything ready and prepared. And then I decided, you know, I can't just spend the time preparing because I'll be preparing forever. We got to go. We got to do it. Thanks, Charlie. Video game work. Yes. Welcome in, Brian. I'm already getting really excited for December 1982. And I think someone mentioned, are we going to be in November forever? We have been in November 1982 for a long time. Someone also mentioned in the comments that it seems we play a lot more games than we used to since we started in the 70s. And one reason is because, you know, we went from no computers in the house to everyone can use computers and develop games. But the other reason is I wasn't meticulously trying to find every single video game until 1982. So this year, I really wanted no game left behind, and we're gonna do that. We're gonna make sure we do not miss any video games moving forward. So by the time we hit 1983, when I get the stats of a game, like this is the very first time we've seen the game, it really will be the very first time. Thanks, GSE Stream, appreciate it. We'll see how it goes or what happens. I only get so much time going from 1 hour to 30 minutes, so it's a good thing. Oh yeah, the first time I got the idea, Marshall, was when I was at home and playing around on Launchbox and wanted to see the video games that released when I was born. And I was going through it in chronological order, and I said, this is fun. And I realized I didn't want to miss any games if I were to play everything, so I used this format. It does seem like a bet, though, right? Yeah, Brian, the same. I was only familiar mostly with the Atari stuff, so yeah, it's pretty good. Hey, welcome in, Curtis. Yeah, I just started doing this to try it out. We're doing pre-show's a good way to do it. I was thinking a lobby or something. We can call it whatever we want. So just so I can answer some questions live before we start the show, and then just have some time to chat and talk, or answer everything live from the chat. But if everyone doesn't realize already, Curtis Boyle is incredible. He's not just here for the chat. In fact, whenever I started to work with him doing TRS-80 color computer stuff, I didn't realize how deep Curtis goes. Curtis is involved in so many things all over the internet with color computer stuff. I mean, he's involved with other content creators and does a lot of work with them. So really glad you're here, Curtis. Thanks so much. Oh yeah, Nebulous, sometimes I'll need to, because yeah, the controls for these games, I want to make sure they're the closest I can. I originally wanted to get the actual hardware and show hardware of the controller that I'm playing on, but I realized with the scope of this show, it's just too big. Yeah, I'm just going to start doing this and see what happens. All right, and now it's time for the show. Hey, it's Chronologically Gaming, the only channel that's perpetually retro because we're playing every video game in order of release. How would you do it if you could go back in time and play everything and see everything and rate everything? Well, that's what we're going to do as we are just about done with November 1982.
Lepew. Pepe Lepew is my name.
Why can't we have a mouth like other pussycats?
I'll tell you what. Let's take a walk in the woods while our porridge cools. Now, where have I heard that before?
And we were last getting our role-playing video gaming on with The Wild on the TRS-80. And I didn't say this before, this actually marks kind of the beginning of the end. This series of video games was all originally first on the original TRS-80 for the first 3 games. This game is the third out of 4 games. The 4th game will not appear on the original TRS-80. So it's kind of a sweet beginning of the end, if you will. All right, let's see what our next game is. Speaking of the beginning, this is the next big home computer that's just getting his feet wet. It's the Commodore 64, and this is Weather War II, the sequel. Let's take a look at the box. Oh yes, Weather War II. We originally saw Weather War on the Commodore PET in 1979 by Kate Higbee. And this one is only on the Commodore 64. It's the 35th game we've seen for this little computer. I don't think it'll amount for much. Or it might be the end for this show because this computer is going to have so many games. You can see it's a 1 or 2 player game for Commodore 64 computers. Commodore 64 sounds interesting. Tell me more. Here's the other artwork we have for Weather War II. We played Wizard War just recently, and that was pretty cool. But Weather War, that's a different one. This is the cassette tape you'd pop in to play a later cassette tape, I believe, to play some Weather War. I don't think we saw it on the box. And then we got a fabrication of people making up boxes if you can't find the originals, because I don't even think this is the original. This might be, that actually might be the one that is by South Pacific Software, possibly. Besides that, we have no manual, so let's just pop in and play some Weather War II. This is by Magic Carpet Software and Bob Carr, released at some time in November 1982. We're loading in. Oh man, the very beginning. A man's home is his castle. Defend it. Do we want instructions? Oh yes, yes we do. So this is the 3rd time we've seen a game by Magic Carpet Software. We've seen Vortex and Wasp, and this is the 4th time we've seen Bob Carr on the show. He did Lawn, Skeet, and Frog, or the game we played, which was Back to Nature. The object of this game is destroy your opponent's home using nature's weapons. Sounds amazing. Forces of hail, lightning, rain, and tornado are at your command. The after weapon selection, you must show charge if you want to apply. Values have to be between -150 and 50 numbers. So -150 goes all the way to the left of the screen. -150 goes all the way to the right. I just did that backwards with my fingers, but you got the idea. There's also a wind factor that's indicated. And I think all this is the same than what we saw for the first Weather War. They didn't add anything new, I believe. And just as in life, there's also a random act of nature. Okay, that's new from the original. The computer plays if you type in computer for player 1 or player 2, and that's really new. The play continues until the round is completed, giving both players equal number. S as a weapon to see current score. Q to quit the game. Lightning's the most destructive weapon, and hail is the most useful. Okay, so all these instructions will only be shown once, but you can press R to repeat them. Okay, we're ready to play. So now you put in players' names. Let's pretend we're going to play with 2 people. So I'm going to start with myself, Chrono, and then the last person in chat was Marshall. So Marshall and Chrono are going at it with a Weather War. It begins with the round at the top of the screen, attacker, and then it shows the wind down at the bottom. We got wind going to the left. I'm picking my weapon. I'm going to go with hail. So I hit H, enter, and then how much charge. Like how much do I want it to go to the left or to the right? There, I got my finger correct on that side. And you also have to think about the cloud. So look at the cloud at the top. This is going to be depending on where it's going to go. So I want to go 125, and I think that should hail over. So it's going to start at that cloud above my house that says Chrono. Down to Marshall's. Go, go, go. And it did it. Nice. Man, the very humble beginnings of the sound on the Commodore 64, too. And then Marshall's going to pick a weapon. Let's have him go with lightning. And then do a charge going, let's see, wind's going pretty far over on that side. Let's do just 100. All right, and let's do negative, negative 20. What would that do? Oh gosh, did it strike his own house? Oh gosh. Whoops, it needed to go further back. Yes, we need to call our home insurance and make sure we're covered. And then Chrono next picks a weapon. Let's see what rain looks like. How's rain really going to hurt, though? All right, the wind's still the same. I think I was pretty good with 120. Let's do it. Here comes the rain. So I mentioned this when we played the original Weather War. This is an artillery variant. It's a strategy game. Or, take turns, the same thing we've done, what we usually would do with cannons or actually artillery, shooting one another. But this is with weather. It's a totally different idea, but it's kind of the same. All right, so let's do T for tornado. What charge do we want? All right, this is Marshall. So I'm looking at the cloud at the top. I like how they added the extra gray clouds. Let's go with a negative 75. Oh, I said plus. Never mind. I went negative. It's going straight down the middle. I mistyped. Darn. I know, right? All the early titles, Michael, that we've seen so far for the Commodore 64, you just think, it's kind of close to the Commodore VIC-20. We haven't seen this like a killer app that the Commodore 64 has so far. All right, so you get the idea. You're going back and forth, and you try to blow up the other people's house. You can see, I think, is that Marshall's house on fire, or is that a tree? I can't really tell. All right, let's go. Chrono, pick a weapon. Let's do, it's 36 that way. Let's just do 100, and that should be pretty good for hail. Whoa, the wind carried it. Nope, out of bounds. Yikes. So this is the 21st game we played that's a variant of artillery. And it's the 15th time we played one of these strategy games on all home computers, including the artillery, the original artillery that we've already seen on MS-DOS, we've seen on the Atari home computer, and we've seen on the Commodore VIC-20. We've also seen lots of variations like Barrage on the BBC Micro or Cannon Duel on the Atari home computer. So this one is basically a remake. This is an enhanced port of the one we saw on the Commodore PET. I mean, we got color graphics, not monochrome. It's got some quality of life, and then it has the random acts of nature where you can just have something happen randomly while you're playing the game. I don't know if that's a plus or a negative. It depends on you. This is a variant of Weather War. We're going to see other games that are taking the variant of our artillery games and then making variants of this, so more of these. What makes this one unique is this is the very first time we've played any artillery game taking turns like this on a home computer where you have a single player mode where you can play against the computer, because every other artillery game we've seen so far on home computers, you have to have a person to play, like I'm doing right now with Marshall. I would have to have a human. We do hot seat style and take turns. But this time we can actually play against a computer. So I want to actually, can I back out or can I quit? Yeah, right, quit. Final score is 0. We didn't do a lot of damage to each other's homes, so no home insurance needs to be taken in by that. So this one is still fun. I really like artillery style games, and it's pretty cool to check it out. All right, where's the main screen? I want to redo. All right, fine. We'll quit and then come back. I thought whenever we saw the end score that it would let us go back in again, because I want to play for the very first time an artillery game on a home computer against the computer. We played some pretty good artillery games on home consoles too, but this one won't be compared to all those because there's some really good ones on home console. All right, we don't want instructions. Let's go in. Player 1 will be me. And player 2 will be computer. There's a tone happening in the background that really reminds me of Star Trek's The Menagerie. Whenever he bleeps the button or the light, it sounds really close to that. All right, let's go at him with hail. I can aim that pretty good. All right, the charge we want, we got wind going, really far. Let's do 125. That should go far enough. Go, 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 go. Yes, so I got little pieces of the house that were knocked away. And it's a simple concept for artillery style games, but this is very well done. And also, presentation's great. The way this looks and plays, it is all keyboard. Look at that, the computer is going against me. Did some rain damage at the top. I thought I'd be able to do better with hail. Yeah, and that's the game, Marshall, that we played called Wizard War, where we were throwing spells back and forth to one another. This one is an even older concept, Weather War. All right, let's do, I want to try Tornado. Actually, no, let's do Lightning. No, let's do Hail again, because the rain cloud's right over me. I want to do the same. Let's do 125 and hit the top of this guy. But I still have a blast playing these games. They're a lot of fun. Yeah, we're tearing it up. To play against the computer, though, is what's new and fresh about this one. So I'd say that concept alone makes this an above-average game for all the video games you could play on all home computers. Oh gosh, he's throwing a tornado at me? Yikes. Yeah, Marshall, I've been playing way too many Star Trek games. That it's refreshing when we get something that's not Star Trek. But probably because it reminds me of the Menagerie. All right, that's pretty fun. If you had a computer, especially, this is only on the Commodore 64, and this is a really new computer. I give Weather War already an above-average rating to start with, but I don't know if I can go any higher than that because simple to program, fun to play, and it's a concept we've seen before with artillery-style games. So I'm thinking of all the games that you could play on all home computers right now. Weather War 2 is a 3.5-star game. Brad's throwing out 3, mostly average from Curtis. Richard's saying 3.5, and Barclay's saying 3 stars. I'll say above average because the very first time we got the computer to play against us, but it's not pushing that much more. Yeah, the graphics are really nice too, Manly. All right, there you go. There's Weather War 2. Let's see what our next game is. Excellent. It's time to go to the arcade. I'm so excited. This is Wild Western in the arcade for the very first time. Let's take a look at the advertisement flyer for Wild Western. This one looks like an actual, in a magazine, advertisement flyer. So this video game possibly could be April or May, because they keep changing the dates. Whenever I looked this up, I saw the very earliest date in Japan was November, and that's what I tagged it as. But now I look and everything's saying April for Japan whenever it first came out. They change it back and forth, but it's possible this was April or November was when it came out in North America. So this is the 560th video game we've seen in the arcade. And if that number seems way off compared to what we had before, it's because in the backlog, I've been adding arcade games that we missed that we'll eventually be playing. So 560 arcade games is a lot. And this one is the Japanese advertisement flyer, looking pretty good at the top. Down at the bottom is the Pit, which we have already seen. And I'm wondering if they got that in Japan around the same time as this game. And here we go, all in color. This is by Taito, the 75th video game we've seen by Taito. And everything that they've done has been in the arcade. They've been doing games like Avenger, Gunfight, Seawolf, Space Invaders, Lunar Rescue, Lupin the Third, Crazy Climber, Fitter or Roundup, Jungle King, and games like Frontline. Taito, they're going to do a lot. The only thing that they've done that has not been in the arcade was Space Invaders, which is currently on the Atari 2600, the Atari home computer, and the Atari 5200. So Space Invaders is the only one that's not in the arcade. Everything else Taito has done has been here. You flip the advertisement flyer in the back, at least this one by Taito America? Oh no, it says it's printed in Japan, but it's in English. Sweet, maybe someone translated it. Journey back 150 years in time and relive the history of the Wild West in Taito's colorful Wild Western. Action and adventure await you as you mount your fiery steed and gallop across the desert in hot pursuit of a gang of bandits. Feel like a true Western hero after all have been shot down and the locomotive passes through safety. And they're even pointing out the play features here. That's pretty nice. So here's the arcade cabinet for Wild Western. This is going to be fun. It already looks Wild Western, but what's missing is, where's the wood grain? It feels like, I know that it was a 70s trope, but I mean, Wild Western needs to have wood grain on the outside. Inside, there's the arcade PCB, and here's the control panel, and right away, we got something fun. Look at that. We have an 8-way joystick over on the left, but then we have one of those rotary dials where you're going to be pushing, twisting the dial and pushing down to fire your gun. And then you have an additional button, the jump on and jump off the train and avoid the water tank pipe, which I think that is the longest explanation of one button in any video game we've seen. I mean, what is that? It's like 2 sentences to cover one button. Oh man, so there's the controls. Now they say it's dual 8-way, but it's not. MAME's incorrect. You saw the control panel. This is a special control scheme. All right, we'll break that down later. So here's the arcade marquee for Wild Western. Oh, and GE Stream brings up in the chat about Arkanoid. We're not going to see that one for a long time, but yeah, Taito. And there's the example of the screenshot. All right, now we also have, not that, we have the manual. When it came over to Taito of America, we can read this manual, but this will tell us more about how they described the game when it was released. We're not going to be assembling any arcade cabinets here. There it is. Wild Western is a game. Journey back in time to the Wild West. You'll mount fiery steed in pursuit of gang of bandits. The horse's speed and direction is controlled by the 8-way joystick. Directional gunfire is controlled by the revolving control. Hitting the button, the player fires at the runaway bandits. Now, that's interesting because that joystick I've heard is called a rotary. I've heard it called a dial, and they call it a revolving control. The bandits' gunfire running into cacti, rocks, or the train is fatal to the player. So essentially, don't touch anything. When a bandit hops on the train, the player has to climb aboard in order to shoot him. Getting aboard the train requires skill and timing, as he has to run parallel with the train at a safe distance and push the button to get aboard. Now, I've already done playtests of this arcade game. I have not been able to get on this train. So if I can do this live on the show, I'll consider it an amazing feat. If you ride on the train too long, it's also dangerous because the player has to watch out for outstretched water pipes passing water tanks. They have to push the duck button to be, and so I didn't even get to this point where I can duck water pipes. But the idea is you're going to be riding around on your horse and shooting everybody. And that's pretty much all they explain here in the manual. The rest is very, very technical. No arcade assembly required here on the show. All right, let's go to the arcade and play some Wild Western by Taito at some time in November or maybe April 1982. All right, booting it up. Let's go. Let's see what the attract mode has for us. If you look over the far left side, this is the display that you'd get around the CRT. It is vertical, portrait, Tate mode, whatever you want to call it. And then over on the left, it explains Wild Western. Insert the coins, turn the dial for the bullet direction, push to fire if a bandit jumps on, and what to do for all those cases. So it has the instructions. Attract mode looks pretty nice. All right, let's go in. Got a coin and... oh, actually, I think we need to bring you down. That was loud coin. There you go. Ooh, cool. So bandits are approaching from the left side. I am in the very bottom right, and I'm already getting used to the controls. My 8-way joystick moves my horse around, but it's not very fast. And I have the dial. You can see my gun is a black gun that I can move around and shoot. Barely got it. Oh, this cactus is going to get me, though. Oh, I can't believe I dodged that. So you can see how my gun rolls around when I move the dial, and when I push it down, that's what makes me fire. So essentially, this is a twin-stick shooter. Not in the true sense, but it pretty much gets the job done, where I can move and shoot different ways at different times. I also have a ricochet feature, which is kind of nice. We had a submarine game that was allowing us to do ricochets. But if you touch anything, looks like grass is okay. Oh, it got me. If you do go down, then you start back at the beginning again. Yikes, that was a bad run. And then if you destroy all of them, then you get to go to a bonus stage. Oh, we got it. You don't have any control over the gun. You just have to time your shot and just push the dial down at the right time to shoot the silver dollar. We move on to the next stage. We got bandits over on the right side now. I'm going to use my dial to move around and die. Is that my last? Okay. Before the show, I went in the back of the arcade machine, messed with the dip switches, and gave myself a few more lives. So I was hoping to see some longer of the game. But in a way, this is a auto-scrolling shoot 'em up. It's just it's having you play differently than what you'd expect, because most of the time we're a spaceship or a plane that's flying vertically and then shooting everything up. But this one, it's different. It's still a shoot 'em up though, because you're having to shoot things as you're auto-scrolling, but it has the Western theme. Plus, it has the ability for you to do more than just a shoot 'em up. All right, now we're going across. Oh, they're not even going to try to board the train. And you can see the big thing that'll make you die is not really the people boarding the train, because if 3 bandits board the train, then you lose and the game's over. But the other thing is, whenever you're playing, the bandits shooting you is what's really going to kill you. Having to dodge them. I don't know what I was supposed to do on this side, whether just wait for them to come around. So you can also come around this side and then do a little ricochet action. See if you can get some of the bandits right there like that. Got him. Oh, but I touched the cactus. Gotta watch out for all of it. Yeah, I saw someone mention the music in the chat. There is a lot of public domain music. Oh, and there's one of the water pipes. You'd have to duck if you were on the train, but you cannot get on the train until a bandit gets on the train. So if you're a good enough quick shot, then you wouldn't have a problem with it. If you can kill all the bandits, they'll never have a chance to get to the train. All right, let's try to go in again and see if we can get a bandit on the train and jump on the train. All my playtests, I would be just riding around and shooting all the bandits, and it worked great. I didn't have anyone try to board. The way the graphics look and this style is, again, reminding me of the end of the golden age of arcade games because it's adding more color. It's the gameplay isn't as simple. This is trying to do something a little more sophisticated, similar to when we played Track Attack on the Atari home computer. It started off with a top-down maze game as a train going around a maze, and then it turned into a platformer of all things if you happen to get on the train. So this one's wanting to change up the gameplay a little bit. Yeah, I can see everyone talking about the public domain music over there. Let's see if I can sneak a shot in. I can't, so let's try the ricochet. I got one with the ricochet. Nice touch, I like that. And then we can just go for some vertical shots up there. Got him. And when you kill all the bandits, then you move on to the next level, or the bonus round like you see here. Let's see if we can make the shot. And, oh, missed it that time. So this is the 173rd video game we played that's an auto-scrolling or shoot-'em-up. It's the 48th that we've seen so far in the arcades up to this point. And what makes this unique, though, is the twin-stick shooter experience, being able to move freely and shoot. It's not nearly as versatile as something like Robotron 2084, but it still is moving and shooting independently. And so this is the 16th twin-stick shooter we've seen so far on Chronologically Gaming, and it's the 10th that we've seen in the arcade so far. So it's not like there's a lot of twin-stick shooters out there. Some of the popular ones we've seen have been Mars in 1981, or Rescue in September 1982, and then more recently we saw Survivor that was on the Atari home computer. And, I mean, doing this twin-stick shooter like this on a home computer is even more rare. Come on, use the ricochet. Looking good. All right, I think we can get him. Got it, nice. And then go on for a silver dollar again. That's it, Marshall. We can call it Robotron 1884. Yeehaw! Oh, I missed it again. Like a quick time event you have in between everything. This video game is the 9th video game we played that features horses, and the 6th video game where we've been riding horses. Been riding horses since 1971. Well, not 1971. I don't remember the first game we played where we were riding a horse. But we did play Horse Racing, that's on the Atari 2600. We played Stampede and Shadowfax, games like that. So the dial, though, and the control is what makes this unique. This is the 3rd game we've seen that has an 8-way joystick and a dial like this. The other two being Sheriff and Bandito, which, if you don't remember Sheriff, it's Nintendo Sheriff. They had the same idea, but it was a lot slower than this. This one picks up the pace. Control scheme, though, is very, very rare. But the other thing to point out is this is an Old West or Western style game. The 42nd video game we played that is a Western-themed video game. We're not... we've already seen plenty of those so far. Go, go, go! Games like Shootout on the Odyssey in 1972, Wild Gunman by Nintendo in 1974, Gunfight by Taito in November 1975, Indian Battle in the arcade by Taito, and then the train. We don't get to ride the train, but it does feature a train in the video game. And we need some more of those because this is only the 7th game we played that is featuring or letting you commandeer a train. The other one I mentioned was Track Attack. So this is going to be released later on several Japanese home computers sometime around 1983. So we will see this again. But here in the arcades, the control is where it's at. It's awesome. Yeah. Mainly saying 4 stars already because of the special controls. It's got a train. It's got guns. It's got bandits. There's a lot to love here. I'm with you there. So of all the games you could play on everything right now in the arcade, it has a lot it has to live up to. I don't think I see, yeah, Curtis is saying 4. I say 4 as well. This is excellent. A very, very good game. It is not top tier arcade. And you know what top tier arcade looks like in November 1982. And if you don't, then check out the link down below for all the video games we've played, and you'll kind of see the landscape. We got some 3.5s there too. Richard's also saying 4 stars, but I'll contend with 3.6 from Barclay, and then 3.5. I'm going 4. This is excellent. It's trying to do more and different for gameplay, and it is fun, and it is unique. All right, after that, let's see what our next game is. We're next going to the Atari 2600. This is Word Zapper. Word Zapper, yay! One of those presents your grandma probably got you for Christmas, expecting you to learn something. This one is only on the Atari 2600, and it is the 184th game we've seen for the Atari VCS since 1977. So this box is, it says VidTech, which also can be US Games, which you can see the logo in the top. This is the 5th game we've seen by US Games so far. And this artwork is like a refabricated one. Looks almost, it doesn't really look like the real game. But I don't know, if it has the word in it, then I don't think anyone would be wanting to buy it. It's a 1 or 2 player full color action game with 24 variations. Hey, 24 variations sounds good. We like variations here. So besides the box, what else do we have for Word Zapper? We have the advertisement flyer with another one of their games by US Games, Commando Raid. And then we have, down at the bottom, Hot Game Challenges the Best. Just when you thought you've been fast enough, you have to think faster. And then this is one of the dealer displays by US Games, and this is a real display. You'll love our video games, or US Games will buy them back. Hate to break it to you guys, but I wouldn't use that business model right now in November 1982. Maybe that's why we don't hear about US Games today. And there it is, our Atari 2600, and the example of the cartridge inside. So this is the 5th game we've seen by US Games: Space Jockey, Commando Raid, Towering Inferno, and just recently, Sneak and Peek. Hopefully this will redeem US Games. With an example of the screenshot. We also have the manual. How do you play Word Zapper? Tell us, US Games. It's joystick controlled, rotary wing Word Zapper, armed with a vertical horizontal firing lasers and capable of incredible maneuverability. Opposing you is the Scroll, a diabolic device designed to wear out the wrist and boggle the mind. This is quality manual writing right here. It's taunting you to duplicate a word, or scrambled letters flash at the bottom of the screen. You must shoot each letter in perfect order and must match 3 words within 99 seconds. Sounds easy, well wait until you meet the Scroll's friends, the asteroids. This is just too good. I can't make this stuff up. There's the example of the picture, breaking down everything you see on the screen with instructions. We have 1 and 2 player games, but you don't get to play at the same time. I think you're taking turns. Yeah, you don't get to play at the exact same time. It's arcade style hot seat. And you can even switch between the TV using color or black and white switch on your Atari to go from 1 and 2 player. And then we do have difficulty switches that you can use too. And the game variations. Look at this. We have meteor density, speed. When you can match words or letters, and then scrolling speed. So we have options. I love variations. That's awesome. And someone's in the chat's bringing up Math Racer. That sounds like loads of fun too. There's the scoring. You got to know what how to get the high score in 1982. And I don't think US Games had something like Magic or Activision had, where you can get a patch. I don't think they do that. And then they explain how to play the game. 4 different types of asteroids: Doomsday Asteroid, Scrolling, Bonker, and Zonkers. So this actually has some depth to it. I was expecting something a little simple. Look at this. Look at the game variations. 24 different ones. Wow. And they even have what's called the gift of the first freebie. So you see what we got here. There's a lot more going on with this game. So this one was available also in PAL regions. We're going to play the very first one here in North America. This is Word Zapper by Henry C. Will IV, released at some time in November 1982. Whoa. Word Zapper is ready to crank the sound up. That's awesome. So this is by Henry C. Will IV. It's the 3rd game we've seen by them. They did Commando Raid, and they also did Mousetrap on the Atari 2600. So this one is meant to be an educational writing, like a writing reading game and a shoot 'em up at the same time. So let's see how this works. I'm just going to go with game mode 1 and then reset. Yes, I'm ready to fire. Whoa. All right, so is the word fire? It is. I got to spell fire that you saw at the bottom of the screen. So I do have a very good movement of my ship, waiting for the scroll at the top. I'll go for the R, F-I-R, and then go for the E while I'm dodging all the asteroids. Oh, and look, it not only fires at the top, I just realized it is firing the left and right side. Oh, I need to go end, right? Yeah. There you go. And then finish it. Wait a second. Wait a second. I know I'm spelling, but that it actually controls really well. And now we're spelling the word spell. How ironic is that? So yeah, this moves and controls really good. And I like that it has a shot that goes out the left and right sides too. Wait a second. I think I'm having fun with this. Something's going on. This actually feels pretty good. L. Can I? Oh, I gotta wait for the scroll to come around. So you can destroy the other asteroids if you want to, and there's different types of asteroids. All right, and then we can end it with this one. You try to do this as fast as you can to get the high score. Your spaceship does a little dance whenever you finish it. Yeah, right? I know, this is another one of those video games like Typo Attack, that it seems more arcadey than it does for anything else. Oh, I didn't even see the word. Didn't even see what word I'm supposed to spell. You have to play these games and showcase these games and not blink your eyes. I was looking over at the chat. But yeah, this is really well done for a quote-unquote learning game. It obviously seems more arcadey, but you would have... That's a good point. Even though I know how to spell the word, it is taking a lot of skill. Oh, it is. Okay, thanks, Marshall. Let's see if we can get it now. I'm going to totally not be able to do it in the amount of time, though. S-E... Oh, it doesn't matter the order, I guess. Well, now, let's see what happens if I lose. Yeah, that's not going to make it. Interesting. Good sound, too. So this is still just a fixed shooter for all the games we've seen so far. This is the 396th fixed shooter, and it's the 50th one we've seen on home consoles. Some of the best fixed shooters are going to be games like Space Invaders for the Atari 2600. That one still tops for all the shooters you can play at this point. And then Demon Attack's another really, really good one that's out there. This one's having to compete with. Oh, I thought it was Ace. I guess not. There's also Sonic Invader we've seen for the Creative Vision. Communist Mutants from Space is excellent. Cosmic Arc. Galaxian, that's on the Bally Astrocade. Turmoil. Phoenix on the Atari 2600. And Mega Mania, just to name a few of the other fixed shooters this one has to compete with. But this is pretty good for a home console. I mean, it even has the game variations, too. Is this one select as well? Or am I supposed to do... Oh, it's land. Thank you so much. Someone's paying attention. Maybe they're the ones learning. It's not me. But I can attest. This game's doing something right, and this is actually fun to play. I don't know if anyone would admit that it's fun to play, though. Because it's trying to be endorsed as an educational title. But yeah, it actually works all right. Nice. So fun. Yeah, when you get into the subject of the gameplay modes and options and everything this has, this is chock full of good stuff. And it has the difficulty switches for the... You can even do Doomsday devices and scramblers, the 24 different game modes. And so, yeah, the combination of the different asteroids and enemy types, too. The way that you shoot in this is also a little unique. It's not like it's ripping off something. And it makes me think of the other games we've seen on the Atari 2600 that try to do something new, and they fail. And it's not very fun. And the sound design's really good too. So I'm impressed. What in the world's going on? I don't know if I learned anything, but I did learn how Word Zapper is not really a typical educational game. They shouldn't have called it Word Zapper. They should have done something else because it's fun. It actually works all right. So for fixed shooters, I'd still say around the average range for all the games you could play. It's really difficult for me to say something, this is a 3.5-star game, but I guess I could. I could say anywhere between 3 and 3.5 for all the titles so far. Yeah, Jeremiah's even saying that US Games is underrated. But I got mostly 3 stars, which is average for all the games you could play on all home consoles right now. Yeah, I don't think anyone else has anywhere above that. So I'll contest. I think is that unanimous? Is everyone in the chat saying 3 stars or average for all the games? Oh, there you go. Marshall threw out a 3. Well, I'll concede. It's average for all the games you could play on all home consoles, but it's pretty fun. I was expecting this to be around a 2-star game, but I was pleasantly surprised. All right, that's where we got to put our video game playing on pause. Or if we're in the arcades, we ran out of quarters. We need to go find some more. But if this was released in Japan, I guess that means we ran out of yen. Well, next time on Chronologically Gaming, it's games that start with Z. Feast your eyes on Zenith. Feast your brain on Zendar. And Zor through the arcade. That's it for today, and like I always say, if you're having a weather war, be sure to bring an umbrella. Hey everybody, thanks for checking out the channel and joining me on my quest to play every single video game in order of release. We'll be streaming live every weekday at 9 p.m. Central, so join us and let us know if we missed any games along the way. This video would not be possible without Launchbox, RetroArch, and MAME. Tell all your friends there's some crazy guy named Chronologically Gaming trying to play every single video game. We have links down below that'll send you to places like our Discord and Patreon, and one that says all the video games we've ever played. If you go there, it's a list of everything, and you can click right to the game you want to see. Chronologically Gaming is the name to look for. We are perpetually retro, and we will catch you next time.